Stop playing Galaga for a second. Before I say anything, I need you to picture a specific scene. The Avengers kick down a door. They've been hunting Doom the entire movie, and when that door opens, Doctor Strange is standing right next to him. Not fighting him, not a prisoner, just there, calm, like he's been there a while. And Strange looks at the people he spent 15 years fighting beside, and he doesn't say a word, because he knew this moment was coming. He planned for it. He decided it was the only way. That scene exists. It's in the comics Marvel's directly adapting right now. And I'm not going to argue, not theorize. I'm going to show you that it's happening in the MCU. Because an insider already leaked it. Benedict Cumberbatch basically confirmed it on camera. The screenwriter of Multiverse of Madness left proof so obvious, it should have broken the internet. And 15 years of Marvel films have been pointing at this exact moment the whole time. Doctor Strange is not fighting Doom in Avengers Doomsday. He's working for him. And by the end of this video, you're gonna feel stupid for not seeing it sooner. The warning nobody heard. Infinity War. Titan. 2018. Strange uses the Time Stone and watches 14,605,926 possible futures play out in real time. People talk about this scene like it's just a setup for Endgame, i.e., he finds the one path where they win, the movie executes the plan, done. But nobody ever stopped to ask the most obvious question. Where does the calculation end? The Time Stone is not a search engine. Strange didn't type in, "show me futures" up until the snap gets reversed, and get a clean result. He saw as far as it would let him see. And when he comes back from that, he walks up to Thanos and hands over the stone. The same stone he swore on screen, out loud, to protect above Tony's life, above Peter's life, above his own life. That oath is in the movie, and then he breaks it. And the only thing he says to Tony before half the universe turns to dust is 4 words. We're in the endgame now.
We're in the endgame now.
Not "we're gonna be okay," not "trust me," endgame, a word he never used before that moment. Said it so flat it made flat earthers feel seen. The kind of tone you use when you already know how the story ends. That's not reassurance. That is Strange telling Tony, in the last real conversation they ever have before Tony sacrifices himself a year later, that what's about to happen isn't the hard part. The hard part comes after. Because Tony doesn't make it out of this. He dies reversing the snap in 2023 in the MCU. He never gets to see what Strange already knew was coming. Strange saw it all. He saw Doom, he saw the incursions, he saw Battleworld, he saw the end of the multiverse. And from that moment on, every single thing Strange does starts making a different kind of sense. Freaky Strange cracked the multiverse, and it wasn't an accident. Jump to December 2021. No Way Home. Everyone remembers this as a Spider-Man movie. But watch what Strange actually does in it. He casts a spell so badly contained that it tears the walls between universes open wide enough to pull in full versions of villains from entirely separate realities. And then he has to stand in the middle of the New York skyline, physically holding dimensions apart with a sling ring construct just to stop everything from collapsing. That's not a small event at all. That's a multiversal alarm going off. Anyone monitoring the stability of the universe, and Victor Von Doom has been doing exactly that longer than any living person, would have seen that flare from anywhere. There is no version of events where Doom missed it. That's when Doom clocks Strange, not as a threat, as the most useful man alive. Now, May 2022, Multiverse of Madness. And this is where it stops being circumstantial. Reed Richards of Earth 838 tells Strange directly in the actual dialogue of the film that his presence in their universe is triggering an incursion.
The larger the footprint you leave behind, the greater the risk of an incursion.
Then Michael Waldron, the screenwriter, confirmed publicly after release that Strange's dreamwalking caused a real incursion, an actual universe-ending collision caused by the Sorcerer Supreme of Earth 616. The man who swore to protect reality broke it. And the movie ends with a third eye cracking open in the middle of his forehead, which honestly sounds like a great Snapchat filter, but is actually Darkhold corruption. Something got into Strange and left a mark subtle enough that nobody's treating it as a problem, which is exactly how the worst problems start. Post-credits, Clea appears, tells him he caused an incursion, tells him to go fix it. Strange walks straight into the dark dimension, third eye open with absolutely no hesitation, and then the trail goes cold. We don't know what he found there. We don't know what happened next. But here's the question that reframes everything. What if the universe Strange went to fix was Doom's? Here's the theory that fits perfectly. The leading explanation for how Doom ends up in Earth 616 is that an incursion caused by Earth 616 wiped out a neighboring universe, and Doom was the only one who made it out. Now, think about who caused that incursion. If Strange broke that universe and then showed up in the wreckage trying to explain himself, that first meeting between them isn't two enemies sizing each other up. It's the man responsible for killing everyone Doom ever knew, standing in the ruins with nothing to say that could possibly be enough. And Doom doesn't kill him, because Doom is the smartest man in any universe, and he recognizes what Strange is. He tells him the truth instead, about the final incursion, about Battleworld, about the fact that what's coming cannot be stopped. The only real question is whether anyone survives it. Strange has already run the numbers on more futures than a human brain should be able to process. He knows immediately what the only move is. Get inside. Because every future where the Avengers try to stop Doom from the outside ends the same way. They lose, every single one. The only path, the one path where anyone from any universe comes out the other side, is if someone Doom trusts is already in position when he builds his false world from the wreckage of everything that came before. That person is Strange. And here's the part that makes this more than a theory. Marvel already put the ending in a comic book and sold it to millions of people. They already told us how it ends. The Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars run is not just inspiration for Doomsday and Secret Wars. The Russo brothers have said in interviews they're following the blueprint directly. And in that blueprint, Strange doesn't fight Doom, he runs Doom's world. When Doom takes power from the Beyonders and rebuilds reality out of the corpses of dead universes, he creates Battleworld, a patchwork planet. Doom is God Emperor, everyone's memories wiped clean, everyone except Strange. Doom makes Strange the sheriff of Battleworld, his right hand, the one person with real authority over everything, and Strange plays the role completely, convincingly, for years. But he never forgot, not for a single day. He found a life raft, a capsule with survivors from the real universe, 8 years before he said a word to Doom about it. 8 years. Kept serving, kept his face straight. Then when the moment was right, he moved, got the survivors out, gave them everything they'd need to eventually bring Doom down. When Doom found out, he slimed Strange immediately. His closest ally, gone, because Strange had chosen the world over him. And Strange knew that's how it would end when he made the call. He'd already seen it. He did it anyway because it was the only move that worked. This is the character. That has always been the character. Every time Strange does something that looks unforgivable, like giving Thanos the stone in 2018, cracking the multiverse open in 2021, the dreamwalking in 2022, it turns out to be the move. Every single time. The people around him think he broke, and then they realize he didn't. Siding with Doom is just that pattern, at the scale of the entire multiverse. The proof. This is where the theory becomes something else. Jeff Snyder, legitimate Marvel insider with a real track record, said Strange is on Doom's side of things in Doomsday. That's a direct quote. It's out there. At the exact moment that quote was circulating, Marvel dropped the official cast announcement for Avengers Doomsday. Benedict Cumberbatch was not on it. 13 MCU appearances. The central figure of every multiverse storyline since No Way Home in 2021. Not listed. A reporter asked him about it. He laughed it off. They pushed harder, asked point blank whether Kevin Feige was deliberately hiding his role. Cumberbatch looked straight into the camera and said, "That's exactly it. Marvel has confirmed he's in the film. Marvel will not say what he's doing in it. That only happens one way, when the character's role would reframe everything the audience already watched. When showing your hand early kills the moment the whole story was building toward. The third eye isn't a sign that Strange is lost. It's a sign that he can see further than anyone around him. And what he sees has always required him to go somewhere the other heroes can't follow. Strange is working with Doom. The film shows it. The comics already printed the ending. The insiders leaked it. And 15 years of the most carefully constructed character arc in the MCU makes it feel like the only thing that was ever going to happen. When that door opens in December 2026 and Strange is standing on the wrong side of it, nobody's going to call it a twist. It's going to feel like the only ending that was ever possible.